So Caitlyn is a fascia stretch therapy provider.
Yes.
And before we get into what that does, maybe you can explain to us what fascia is and why we should have fascia stretch therapy.
Yes. Well, fascia, if we're not focused on what that means for us, it's essentially what's connecting the entire body. So there's a connective tissue webbing throughout the body from skin to bone, surrounding your joints, your ligaments, your tendons, your nerves. And that can get a little bit sticky or gunked up or restricted just with life. And so addressing a stretch therapy that's going to approach a global aspect of that, in addition to your larger muscle groups or working for joint mobility, will allow us to free up space, find better movement.
Yeah, so
That's hard.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's important to have really healthy fascia,
Yes.
right? And so that's why we would come to a fascia stretch provider like yourself.
Yes.
And so a fascia stretch therapist, which is a long word and it
Yes.
kind of, it's like a tongue twister, FST, what does that include? So when someone comes to you for a treatment, what would that look like for them?
Well, it's essentially an assisted stretch technique, table-based, with stability straps, depending on what you present when you come in. It takes about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on what you're looking for. We do a full body assessment, check range of motion, work to find passive range of motion as best as we can, try to address the nervous system, taking you down a little bit versus ramping you up, and see where you're presenting any restriction or tightness, or maybe if you're presenting pain, you come in and we address that first. Try to find the source of it, maybe work to balance out any compensation patterns you may have been developing, and we move you. We just move you.
Right. Now, is there a certain clientele or age group? Can any age come to you and have this done? Or if somebody is elderly, or not even necessarily elderly, that has joint pain or arthritis, would this be a modality that they would want to try? Would this help?
I think that it would certainly be an option. What FST is, what's really great about FST is that there are very few limitations that we find with it when we provide it for anybody. It could be a young child, it could be the elderly, it could be someone who has had surgery, someone that needs to have surgery. Obviously, like you said, whenever you approach a new modality, whether it's massage therapy, whether it's FST, whether it's chiropractic, obviously that's a whole different genre, you want to consult a physician about it. But essentially, because it's so gentle, and it's working with what you have going on already to gain from there, range of motion, flexibility, decompression throughout the joints itself, almost anybody is eligible for it.
Mm-hmm. Now, with fascia stretch, is there a certain time period like within your treatments? Can you do it once a week, or I guess depending on your evaluation of the person and their range of motion?
Yeah, so I suppose it's what you are looking to get out of it. If it is just in general your self-care and you want to make sure that you're feeling good and you're relaxed and it's something that resonates with you or allows for you to achieve what you want to achieve more easily, then you can apply it once a week, maybe a couple of times a week. Maybe we work to find a treatment plan that best suits what you've got going on, whether you're an athlete, non-athlete, weekend warrior, high school athlete, college athlete, whatever, name it. We can kind of sit down, talk about what you want to achieve from session, and then go from there. Ideally, every time you come, we just layer on. It becomes a little bit more effective each time, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's a layering effect.
It accumulates, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, I know I tried it last year, and I loved it. and I didn't know what to expect because I never heard of fascia stretch therapy. It's kind of new. When I did try it, I was springier. My posture seemed really fabulous. It was, I kind of walked a little, taller, and it just felt, I felt really light. So I loved it. Now, I know that you have a background with other fitness, and we met, gosh, through our yoga teacher training, a year-long program that we did together. And what was that, 2014?
Oh my gosh.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Right? It seems like with all of the modalities, or the CrossFit and your yoga, that this has kind of come full circle. Can you tell me about why or how you came about finding fascia stretch therapy and why you wanted to become a provider?
Yeah. So like you said, we met during our teacher training for yoga, and that came about almost serendipitously, right? I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Oh,
But that
likewise.
time period, that training itself really opened up my eyes to a lot of different things as far as what I needed physically. So I played sports growing up, like I feel like a lot of people do. And when I got out of high school, I didn't really continue sports. I went to college, didn't play anything. I was always I consider myself an active person. I ended up getting introduced to fitness, and through that found CrossFit, and quickly found that in anything that you do, whether it's CrossFit or just being able to have a healthy relationship with the gym, you also need to balance that with a lot of mobility, self-care in the sense of stretching or addressing your issues that you might find that are just happening naturally as you build muscle.
Absolutely. Right.
So I got back into yoga, where I find that it helps assist my range of motion, my mobility, flexibility, and through that decided I wanted to educate myself a little bit further. So I signed up for our teacher training,
Right.
and when I left there, it shifted my way of thinking so much so that I felt as if I had to give my information to people, especially people like me who maybe were working out at the gym or maybe working out a couple extra days a week that maybe we weren't quite used to.
Right.
So there was a heavy focus on the larger areas of concern for me when I introduced myself to this, and it led me to modifications or assists within my practice that were gentle, they were passive, they were meeting my client or my student where they were and addressing what they particularly had going on. And I thought that I would be best served to pursue a one-on-one in addition to what I was doing. And there are so many different modalities out there. Massage therapy was on the docket. I thought about that a lot, and I think that when I did all of my Google searching and all of my research on it, I am not really sure how I came to the Stretch to Win Institute site and found fascial stretch therapy, but the second I read about it, the second I watched the informational videos about it, I thought, this is it. This is what resonates with me. This approach is going to be a wonderful addition to what I'm already doing. It was paralleling my thought process already. And I sat on it for a while. I didn't actually sign up for it. Right. I didn't pursue it right away. I really gave it a lot of thought because it's an investment. The training for it is definitely a commitment. Well worth it. I am so happy that I did it. I can't wait to further educate myself in it as well. But I came back having this new tool that I couldn't wait to share with people, which has been going really well, has really upped my game with yoga as well, with my approach.
Well, I know how you teach yoga is a little bit different than a lot of teachers, and a lot of my yoga clients, when you were teaching yoga at the studio for me, they loved how you prompt them, and they loved how technical you were with positioning. So this feels a little bit more organic on how this is coming about for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So you have your office in East Longmeadow,
I do.
right? And how long have you been there?
I've been there a full year in March.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Already?
Already.
Wow. So you went for training, and that was in Arizona, right? And after the training, you opened up your little office, which it's an amazing office.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And you're also doing yoga on top of it. So you're still
Yes.
teaching the yoga.
Still teaching.
Right. So you have an array. It's quite the balance, right? Yes. So could you tell me how long a session would be if someone came in?
Yeah, typically we go with an hour session to start. If you know that you are in desperate need of a little bit more attention or extra love, I always suggest booking the hour and a half. And I always prompt people to want to think about how they're going to feel within a week to a week and a half and book their second appointment, especially if they're coming to me experiencing discomfort, even if it's the slightest discomfort. But one session may make you feel a little bit better. 2 sessions will make you even feel better.
Right, right. Now, if someone wanted to book an appointment with you, is that something they just go up onto your website?
Yes.
All right.
So you can access the schedule right online
Right.
through my website,
we'll have it on
www.bookfstwithme.com.
the screen.
That'll be on the screen later.
Yeah.
And you can also contact me. I'm on Facebook. You can find my page through Facebook. You can shoot me a message if something doesn't work with your schedule. I'm by appointment, and I tend to have a flexible schedule based on what I'm doing
Right.
full time. So it's accessible.
Right, right. Well, I loved it, and I need to book another one very soon. And I just want to thank you for being here and being my first guest. And we're going to show a demonstration of what Caitlyn actually does a little bit later in the show with her table. And that concludes our show for today. Thank you for joining me. Get inspired, get healthy, and have fun along the way.